What a week, and we have just passed 4,300, which means that the S&P is no longer in a bear market. Even more than that, we have just started a new bull market. Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Micha Stocks from Stock Talk with Micha Stocks, where we talk about stocks. We summarize the week, provide the news, so everyone can be updated. If you're new to the channel, it would be amazing if you can hit that subscribe button and of course turn the notifications on so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video, which usually happens Sunday morning, but maybe I'll start uploading more videos, and that is the reason why you should turn on the notifications. Let's directly dive in. This is how the major averages ended the week. Dow Jones up more than 0.5%, S&P 0.33, NASDAQ 0.03, basically unch, and the Russell. The biggest winner for this week, up almost 3%. We'll talk about the reasons for that happening. And when we look year to date, Dow is up 2.23, S&P up 12.4%, NASDAQ up 27.6% year to date, and Russell up 6.5%. When we look at the crypto market, wasn't a good week for crypto. We had two SEC lawsuits that drove the market down. We can see Bitcoin almost didn't really move much. Ether down 3.16. And year to date, we are starting to see both Bitcoin and Ether starting to cool down a bit from their great opening of the week. And we're going to talk about we're going to talk about that with the news. When we look at the different sectors, we can see consumer discretionary, mainly led by Tesla, which had amazing news this week, up 2.6%. Then utilities, energy, due to OPEC Plus, reducing a bit of the oil in the market. And on the other side, we have consumer staples and technology down 0.5% and a bit more than that. When we dive in even more, we can see the airlines up 3.62%. They haven't been leading these charts. Then we see retail, regional banks, and of course, oil and gas explorations. When we look down, we can see solar, internet, and gold miners on the low side of the week. And as I mentioned in the intro, we have surpassed during the day 4,300, which was a huge milestone, especially for the bears, which seems like if they don't do something dramatic in the next few days, then they have lost the battle. We're going to talk about all of that in a second while we start covering the news. So the first highlight actually came from Meta. This is not prioritized, by the way. And if you enjoy what you see, it would be amazing if you can hit that subscribe button. And a quick reminder that everything you see here is not financial advice. It is only for entertainment and educational purposes only. So Meta is trying to compete with Twitter. During an all-hands that Mark Zuckerberg, their CEO and founder, had this week after the launch of the new Vision Pro, Apple Vision Pro, he also shared these mock-ups, which basically is Twitter with a different app. Project 92. And we talked about Tesla. Well, Tesla had the longest green streak ever. 11 green days. 11 days that they ended on the plus side. But actually, it's not that negative. So it's not, the but didn't sound quite well. It's up only 28% for those 11 days. Or 10 days, actually. Well, they did better in the past. So it is a large winning streak, but from a gain perspective, we have seen better gains across Tesla. So don't be that surprised. And why did that happen? GM, let's say, waves the white flag? I don't know. Takes Tesla's proprietary way of charging, adds that to their cars, saying that they're going to start using that format and not going to develop their own format, which means that all GM cars from next year will have an adapter to charge in Tesla superchargers. And from 2025, the socket itself in the GM cars are going to be exactly as the Tesla ones. Is that a win for Tesla, a loss for GM, or a win for society? You choose whichever option you want. Binance, SEC goes after Binance and says that they want to take their CEO and Binance to court. And Binance retaliates by suspending dollar transactions in the US. Barron's, in their weekend magazine, says, don't fear of the bull market, why stocks are heading higher. One of the main reasons is because too many people came into 2023 very, very bearish. We're going to talk about that during the end of the video. Because they came so bearish, they're now chasing the market. And when you're chasing the market, usually you buy it at a higher price because you don't have any other option. And that's why you shouldn't fear the bull market. This is also happening while I'm recording this. And in the last few days, Iran and US are having discussions around getting Iran for a deal to get them further as possible from nuclear enrichment, or actually from nuclear weapons. And in order for that to happen, they will probably provide more oil to the market. That created a drop in the oil market and the oil prices by 4.5%. And a few hours later, gained it back. But that was the reason, because they can provide between 500,000 and 1 million barrels a day. Next is, these charts where people compare between, this is what happened in the dot-com bubble, this is what happened in the great financial crisis, So 2022, according to a research firm called Ophir, we can see that 2022 is actually not behaving the same way when we look at duration, days from market peak. Now, is it just a head fake? Will it go down? If you ask the bears, of course, this is just a head fake. If you ask the bulls, we have just started a new bull market. I don't have an opinion. I'm just showing you the information. GameStop fires their CEO. Amazon adds a firm as one of the payment options. Boeing, with irregular problems with 787, the Dreamliner, they're probably going to delay deliveries because they found some more problems. And talking about chasing alpha, or actually chasing gains, record amount of call buying in the Russell. Why? Because if you want to chase gains, you want to go to the higher beta stock. Higher beta stocks means, if you're seeing this video and you don't know what it means, S&P is, let's say, 0 beta or 1 beta. It doesn't really matter. It's the benchmark. Every stock compared to the S&P has its own torque going up or down. Now, if you go down to the Russell, to the smaller companies, you get higher torque. So if the S&P goes 1% up, those stocks usually go 2, maybe 3%. When you're chasing gains, you need to go after the Russell stocks. That's the reason for that. And we also have the SEC going after Coinbase. Now, they're saying that they acted as a broker and they weren't registered as a broker. A lot of things that the SEC are saying. But the big problem, according to Brian Armstrong, is he's saying, look, we went public 2 years ago. You, SEC, went over everything we do. You cleared it. You said everything's okay. So you can't come back 2 years later saying we're doing something illegal because you cleared it. Sounds logical to me, but not to Gary Gensler, head of the SEC. And this is the reaction that came out of the audience during the Vision Pro, Apple's new AR/VR headset, when they heard the price.
Apple Vision Pro starts at $34.99. It will be available early.
Yeah, $3,500 for an AR/VR. Probably most of the early adapters would buy it. Companies would buy it. Developers would buy it to create the ecosystem. This will not be a widespread product, probably, at least not version 1. Version 2, 3, that's a different discussion. Disney, Bob Iger went on stage and says that they will have their app inside Vision Pro. In the comments below, write me if you're going to be one of the early adapters that's going to buy the Vision Pro. It would be very interesting to hear from you guys. And OPEC Plus last week reduced the amount of oil or barrels they're putting into the market. Saudis are going to cut 1 million barrels because basically they figured out that the reason why the oil prices are not going up is because of Russia. Russia is saying, we're not providing oil, don't worry. But actually they are. So basically, too much oil in the market drives the price down. That is the reason for that. And after we've finished all the news for the week, let's talk about next week. Next week, or actually the next few weeks. When most of the people came into 2023, they came very bearish. Most of the analysts thought it would be a recession year, earnings recession. Stocks are going to fall. We're going to see 3,500, maybe even 3,000. We're going to check the October lows. All these things happen. I'm not saying they won't happen. All I'm saying that June 10th, while I'm recording this video, we didn't have that. Now, what might happen is the following. In the next few weeks, a lot of customers are going to get the performance of their funds. And their funds most likely did not beat the benchmark, which is the S&P 500. Questions will start being raised. How come you didn't beat the benchmark, which is the S&P 500? I'm not even talking about the NASDAQ that did like the 25%. I'm talking S&P 500, 12.5%. A lot of questions, a lot of eyebrows would be raised. And then money managers will start chasing. They will start chasing stocks. They will start putting liquidity in the market. They have a lot of cash in the sidelines. They have T-bonds that they bought that they can sell back. They can start moving money into the market. Now, I'm not saying for sure that's going to happen. All I'm saying that there is a situation where second half might have a huge melt up due to chasing the market, chasing gains, because they were so offside in the way they prepared themselves for this year that there's too much money that is currently positioned at the wrong side of the trade. And add to that AI. If in the next earnings, which is probably going to start in a month, we're going to see companies not only leveraging AI, but also making money out of AI, this is also going to create that momentum because according to Goldman Sachs, there is at least 1.5% percentage points per year that it's going to add to productivity growth. So maybe AI just took us out of the recession that never really happened, or AI is a bubble. You can answer that yourself. What we do know is that Tuesday, June 13th, we are going to see the CPI. May CPI is going to be released and we are going to hear where are we heading with inflation. Add to that June 13th, June 14th, FOMC, where the Fed officials are going to decide whether they're going to stop, pause, skip, whatever they're going to decide. Huge, huge week for the market. And if we're talking about the market, let's look at the S&P. So the S&P, as we've all seen, let's put the SPY, has breached 4,300 or 430. This green line represents the 50-day moving average. Why did I put the 50-day moving average? Because it's a common way of looking at prices versus, let's call it, the average. You can see right now that the S&P is relatively far from the moving average. Usually when it gets too far from the moving average, there is a mean correction. Why? Because it's statistics. It usually goes back, reverts to the mean. This might happen to the S&P. This might happen, same thing, to the NASDAQ. Now, will it happen next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks? I have no idea. All I'm saying is that just be careful because we are stretched. We are far from the moving average. We can stay this way for weeks. But we can also wake up Monday morning and see that the market goes down 2 to 3%. And that wouldn't totally shock me because it's an option. And just to clarify that we're at the end of the earnings cycle, look at the most anticipated earning releases for this week. We have Oracle on Monday after the bell, and we have Adobe on Thursday after the bell. We have also Kroger, but mainly, that's it. We are done for this season, but don't worry. A month from now, the banks are going to start reporting again. So if you enjoyed everything you saw, it would be amazing if you can smash that like button. You can also forward the link to these videos, to this channel, to more and more people to get a weekly summary so they'll know what happened and what is hopefully going to happen. Let's hope that the green around me is going to stay as long as possible. I'm Micha Stocks, and we will probably meet one another next week, same time, same place. Take care. Bye-bye.